Hey guys, welcome back. King Dro here. Today I will be showing you where and how to farm rock drake eggs on Aberration. Alright, so I'm going to use my teleporter to get to the rock drake area. Now, if you don't have a teleporter there, that's fine. Here it is on the map and the coordinates to the area that you will need to find. You can go there on foot. I don't really recommend it, but if you don't have a rock drake to get to that area, you can certainly use a mana or a spino, but it would take you a lot longer on foot. Alright, before we get started, there's a few things that you need before you get started down there. You're going to need a full hazard suit or a full tech suit. You're going to need a light pet like feather lights, glowtail, bulldog, etc. You also, only certain dinos can be down in the radiation zone. That is light pets, a spino, a megalosaurus, a rock drake, and a reaper. I believe that's all there is. Any other dino will take radiation damage. However, you can feed a dino mushroom soup, which you can look up, and it will give them radiation resistance for about 2 minutes. So if you wanted to take down a mana, you certainly can, but you have to constantly, every 2 minutes, feed it a broth. Okay, so when you get to this point where I'm at right now, this little ledge, this is actually a fairly safe area. This is where I park my skiff, and then I unpod my drake normally. So in this first area that I'm going to show you, this is what I call the easy area. You can get to this spot on foot with like a spinal. This is like a great area for people who don't have rock drakes yet, because you can actually access nests without actually using a drake. You can use a climbing pick. Now, as soon as you take a rock drake egg, it's going to aggro a lot of rock drakes. So be very careful before you dismount that you have the area cleared. If your person takes damage from a rock drake, they can break your hazard suit very quickly, especially if it's primitive. As soon as one of your pieces break, you will die from radiation within 30 seconds. So it's no joke about dismounting. Make sure your surroundings are safe before you do so. Now, when I head down to this little ravine area, this is where I am going to unpod my spinos. The spinos are going to take care of the rock drakes, so that way I can farm the eggs very safely. Spinos work great because they have high damage, versus like a megalosaurus. They struggle because when they aren't ridden, they use their secondary attack, which does not do as much damage. So I land, I unpod my two spinos. I always have a mated pair, and I set them on aggressive. Once you've cleared the rock drakes, you can then farm the nest safely. Unlike wyvern eggs, rock drake eggs spawn very fast. As soon as you leave render, they will almost always respawn. Now, this first nest that I'm going to right here will always respawn as soon as you leave render. So I go to this one first, and then I go back to where the spinos are, and then I get those eggs, and then I just keep rinsing and repeating. Once they stop spawning, then I leave the render for a few minutes, if even that, and then I come back, and they will always be there. Sometimes you have to re-clear the drakes. They do spawn very quickly, but it's not too much of a trouble. Now down here, the nameless do spawn a lot, so make sure you always have your light pets. Reapers do not spawn down here unless, of course, you leave the nameless spawn for too long. Now, after about 15-20 minutes of farming rock drake eggs, I usually end up with at least 10 eggs that are over 165. The 190s are very rare. I usually only get one in every 50 eggs. But the rock drake eggs are very heavy, as you can probably tell. So what I usually do is you can store rock drake eggs in a light pet. They do reduce the weight of a rock drake egg by half. So if you have like a bulldog with very high weight or featherlight, whatever, you can certainly carry more eggs than you would normally. I just generally, where I showed you earlier, where we first started, I park my skiff on that ledge, and then I just take the rock drake up there and drop off eggs, and then I just come back. It allows more drakes to respawn and more eggs, and then also I can drop off eggs. I usually keep the low level eggs just because then I can use it for taming basilics, or I can also use them for making extraordinary kibble. A little side note, always have a spare set of hazard suit, because if you accidentally get a piece broken, you can just slap it on real quick and then you won't die. I always carry a set on my drake because I sometimes get foolish and do dismount thinking I can get the egg before I can get attacked, and then sometimes it doesn't work out that way. Now, I generally only farm rock drake eggs during events because I only want colors at this point. I already have a lot of rock drakes. So it's just a gamble. It's hard to tell who the parents are because they're just either in cognito or they are just being killed by the spinos, so I never get a chance to see the parents. So anything above 165 roughly, I will hatch and hope that I get a color. Alright, so I'm back at base on Crystal Isles. This is my water platform base. This is where I'm going to be incubating my eggs here. Rock drake eggs normally take 6 hours to incubate on official rates. Right now it's 2x breeding, so it only takes 3 hours. And rock drake eggs do require quite a bit of air conditioners to hatch. Alright guys, well that's it for today. I hope this was helpful in figuring out how to do rock drake eggs if anyone has any interest. Hope you enjoyed. Thank you. Subscribe and comment.